Okay, let's look at using the gradient intercept method to sketch our linear graphs. To use this method, we must know the gradient and the y-intercept. The line is drawn by first putting on the y-intercept, then drawing a line with the correct gradient through that point. Let's again look at by way of an example. In our first example, y equals 3 over 4x plus 2. This line is already in the form y equals mx plus c. And remember, m is our gradient, c is our y-intercept. So we can say here that our gradient is 3 over 4 and that our y-intercept is 2. What we then do, once we've identified that, we mark on our y-intercept of 2. So I've marked that on. A gradient of 3 over 4 means a rise of 3 and a run of 4. So from the point I've marked on, it tells me to run across 4. So on my graph, I go across 4. I rise up 3. Rise 3. So if I run 4, rise 3, I draw my second point. Alright, I then rule my line through those 2 points. So for this first example, because it's in the form y equals mx plus c, I've quite quickly identified my gradient and my y-intercept. Mark on your y-intercept and then using our rise and run, mark a second point on, drawing a line with the correct gradient, mark our second point on, rule the line between the two. Our next example, 4x plus 2y is equal to 3. Not so quick because it's not in the form y equals mx plus c. So again, a bit of rearranging. Subtract 4x, subtract 4x. That then cancels. So we've got 2y is equal to 3, subtract 4x. We need to divide by 2 just to leave us with the y. So y is equal to 3 over 2, subtract 2x. Again, helps if we don't have it as improper fractions, if we can write this as a mixed number. So 3 over 2 is 1.5. So our gradient is the thing with the x, so our gradient is negative 2. Our y-intercept is 1.5. So I'm going to mark on my y-intercept here at 1.5. And then my gradient is negative 2. Negative 2 means negative 2 over 1. So in other words, rise over run. So from my y-intercept of 1.5, I run across 1. So run 1. A rise of negative 2 means you go down 2. Negative meaning go down, rise down. So we've run across 1, we've risen down 2, marked in our second point, ruled the line to go through the 2 points. So for the gradient intercept method, we find the gradient and the y-intercept. The line is drawn by first plotting the y-intercept, then drawing a line with the correct gradient through that point.